Hello, everyone.
Good work.
Also muting and everything.
Yeah, I tried my best to seem professional for episode 10.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's number 10.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary, guys.
Oh, thank you. I was quite excited about number 10, and then I heard on the radio this morning that Melvin Bragg, who only probably Brits will know, is doing his 1,000th episode of In Our Time today.
Dear me.
Couldn't imagine doing the same. Well, it's different every time, I think. Great. So we've got Chris here from King Bespoke Creations.
Hello.
We'll talk a bit more to Chris in a minute, but I think you may have heard this before, Chris, but I think you were the first YouTube person I saw doing guitar stuff for that initial great guitar build-off, which is what linked me into finding all the other videos and finding the community. So it's great.
I'm glad to be of service.
So I think same for me too. I think it was your Angel Wings guitar on the Strat.
Yeah, that was the first one. Yeah.
That was one of the early ones for me too.
Grand.
I think the first people I saw were like E.R. Webster was one, and I don't remember. I remember seeing Ben do something about it, and I'm like, when did this happen? It's like a month ago. Little did I know.
I was one of the ones that was emailing him going, can I join in as well?
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool. It was funny because I looked back on some of the old videos the other day, and I'd sort of forgotten, because now I've got to know people a bit more through watching their videos and other non-guitar build-off videos and chatting to people on Instagram and things. I'd sort of forgotten that some of the guitars that I remember were made by some of the people I now talk to. Yeah. I hadn't got that link.
Yeah.
I think, Scott, you had a photo you put up the other day which had your guitar in it that's like, is it an ice cream biscuit thing?
Yep, ice cream sandwich.
Yeah, remember that one? Yeah.
I'd totally forgotten that was you. Yeah, amazing.
Hanging on my wall.
Ah, nice.
Little did I know, I had barely started that when I ran across the competition, and I thought, this is perfect. Little did I know, virtually nobody outside of the U.S. has ever seen an ice cream sandwich before.
I didn't even know what it's called.
Who knew?
But I like the sound of it.
Oh my God, it's awesome.
So what goes on the outside of the ice cream?
It's cookie, but I never tried to describe an ice cream sandwich before. It's like a chocolate cookie, but yeah, when Donkey in Shrek says that parfait might be the best thing on the planet, no, he's wrong. It's the world has no idea. It's a travesty.
I'm not going to get into it, but I've just seen Curtis say in the chat that we've got Arctic Roll, which is similar, but it's not. Arctic Roll looks very different to me.
Arctic Roll doesn't sound like an awesome guitar. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, no, but it's got ice cream in it, so it's pretty good.
And you bake it in the oven. Get your head around that.
That's crazy.
Ooh, I've left my phone on. Let me just turn the sound off. I left my phone on in case there were emergencies. But I think I want to pretend that we all know what we're doing technically now. But
it seems to have gone pretty smooth with that new video at the start. So I think we're doing all right.
Yeah,
slick.
Right. So what we definitely wanted to do today, because it's been a couple of weeks since we last did one, is at the end look at what's been happening with the Great Guitar Build-Off. I've been looking at Facebook. I'm sure Scott's updating still your playlist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And obviously the Yergs Cup as well. I see Chris has got his top on.
Hopefully still available if there's a few left.
Yeah, I think Corey's been putting some more up as well. Some different designs.
Good.
Which is great. And it's been a bit of delay, but episode 10, our first episode, some people gave us super chats, and I'm not sure why, but the money for the super chats only just come through to me. So I'll be putting that into a British leukemia charity. I think Corey suggested it's probably easiest that if people want to donate to a leukemia charity to be part of the Yergs Cup, that you donate to one in your local area or country.
Yep.
Fantastic. So, Chris, shall we start off with that angel guitar?
Yes.
What I liked about that, and I guess with the ice cream sandwich as well, is it wasn't just like a normal looking guitar. It had something extra to it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I like about the guitar building stuff. I'm not just going to build a shiny guitar. If you can buy it from a shop, I'm not going to bother building one. So I always like to do something different. And I had a Strat, or it was a Squire Strat, that I'd taken the body off and carved into that as a separate entity. So I had all these kind of spare parts and thought, I'll just make a new body. And what can I do? And at the time, we were thinking about, safety, because this was right in the middle of lockdown and COVID stuff. And I thought, you know what, people need a bit of angel wings wrapping around them, I think, at this time. So that came about. And I don't particularly like relict guitars either. So I thought, well, let's make a relict guitar and then protect it with some angel wings. Nobody's relicking it anymore.
So obviously, part of that, but also a lot of the other things you do on your YouTube channel have woodwork in it. Is that something that you've got a background in then?
Not technically, no. Totally hobby-based, self-taught woodworker from very early 20s. Went through the great big phase of just more power, more machines, rip stuff through and watch your fingers. And then actually watching people like Bennett Crimson and a few other guys. Paul Sellers is a fantastic guy on YouTube. Really started falling in love with hand tools, hence all of this lot. And yeah, kind of going into that realm of a bit more detail and precision, and really enjoying that. So yeah, the woodworking is actually at the foreground of what I do, whether that's guitars or building a table or whatever.
Just a little plug. I've got your book.
Yes, still available on Amazon, by the way.
I've got the digital copy, not the hard copy.
Excellent. Did you do the challenge in the middle?
I have to admit that I find very little time to do anything other than the guitars, and then sometimes I resort out my workshop. No.
Just change everything around for the fun of it.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I don't know. I saw Ty put up something the other day from Shop the Fox, where he was reorganizing his workbench tools. And I see your tools are nicely organized. I find that sometimes when I'm working, there's tools that suddenly become more regularly used than they used to be.
Yeah.
And they were used to be in a cupboard or out of sight, and now I'm using them more. They move forward a bit.
I was thinking that today when I was in the garage, that the organisation, the tools that you're going to use all of the time, and I'm sort of I just finished the last few days, finished the commission guitar that I've been working on, and then starting sort of the first cuts and gluing up of the Great Guitar boot off guitar. So it's sort of interesting that over 2 or 3 days I was sort of doing both, and it was different tools and things that I was getting. So it wasn't like you'd leave a lot of stuff out. It was kind of like I'd have to keep the bench clean and get all the nut files out and all those kind of things, and then get the glue and the clamps out, half an hour later. So I found that sort of made me think about, where these are going to be kept for different stages of the build.
My fear is always just dropping stuff down the back of the bench because it's up against the wall. I dread to think what's actually down there that I've misplaced and gone, I'm sure I had one. I'll have to go and get another one.
God, my shop looks like a bomb went off in there.
I'm not going to show you the floor in here. It's horrendous.
That reminds me, I've had a couple goofy ideas about builds, but one of them I thought, start with a clean shop and just let everything that happens for an entire build just collect on the floor and just show the mess that is the result, all the waste. I think it would be interesting.
cram it into a shape, fill it full of resin, and make something else out of it.
There you go. But yeah, 2 guitars for the price of 1.
Yes.
I've got a dust extractor that goes into a metal bin, and I always think I'm going to open it up and it's going to have like layers, like archaeology layers of the different guitars I've built. It just seems to mix into a general brown.
Yeah, just general filth.
Awesome.
So, Chris, the other thing I liked about that build is you, if I remember right, were you using some reclaimed wood that you had from a church in that one?
Yeah. So I've the church I was in at the time were getting rid of all of their pews, and replacing them with comfy chairs, and we all rejoiced. And I said, I'll have those. So they just wanted to get rid of them all. So I took 3 or 4 15-foot long, 150-year-old church pews that were just phenomenal things.
I was going to ask how old the wood would be in them.
Yeah, so the church itself, they'd had the same pews from the beginning, and that was 150 years old.
Wow.
And it was top quality stuff when it was done. So they would be very well aged trees that they were used in the original process. The smell when you cut into the stuff, which is the same as the new one that's coming out as well, it's just beautiful. You can just come in on a morning, saw a tiny little bit of wood and let it linger for the rest of the day. It's beautiful. So yeah, my dining table, TV cabinet, shelving, all sorts of stuff got made out of these church pews. And then there was a lump that was big enough to make the guitar body out of it, and I thought, well, that's just perfect. So that's the same thing that's happening with this current build that's happening. I've got a base 6 style that's coming up, and it's church pew that we specifically bought to make that.
Oh, but not from the original lot. You've gone back and
no, unfortunately, I've run out of that original lot. There's still a section of bench in the garden that my wife will kill me if I take my hands to it, but I'm very tempted sometimes because it's still really nice wood. But no, this is from one of the local churches up near Hartlepool. They got rid of theirs, and again, it was a little intermediary chap that I managed to find and get my hands on some. So I've got a fair bit left over after this body's been made, so that we might be able to use a little bit more of that in future builds as well.
Just in case people don't know, do you want to tell us a bit about your worship series?
Yeah, this is something that's I've been working through and trying to build a guitar brand, if you like, of KBC guitars, doing lots of shows, and basically not selling anything. That's what it comes down to, because people don't want to part with money. So I thought, well, I still want to build guitars. I still want content for YouTube, because I love doing the whole YouTube thing and the community and the making of the videos and editing. And I thought, how can I keep making guitars if I'm not going to sell any? I can't just keep them in the house. The wife will absolutely kill me. There's too many already. So I thought, well, let's make them for a good cause. So I decided if you play in a church setting or a worship group setting, I would love to build you a guitar. And if you pay for the parts, I'll build you it for free. So that's how the worship series started. So I got some nice responses from there. I think I've got 9 or 10 guitars kind of lined up, ready to go. So this is the first one. So this is working as the worship series. We're in season 1. Episode 2 is coming out on Sunday. So plug in. It's going to be pretty awesome. This, like I say, this first one is a 30-inch scale 6-string guitar. So kind of bass 6-ish. Not that you're allowed to use the name, but there we go. And that's what we're kind of working to for this one. So this one will be sent up to Highlands of Scotland, I think this is going to. There's another few UK builds, and then there's quite a few that will be heading over to America and all kinds of places. It's exciting stuff. I'm really kind of keen to get stuck into these ones.
Awesome.
Such a good idea of a way to keep making and know that it's going to a home of someone that really wants it. And one thing I always like about the way I work anyway, which seems similar, is the idea that you're designing it with someone or for someone specifically.
Yeah.
And that's so good.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's so in the first episode from last Sunday, it was how instead of just coming up with a design on paper and going, right, I'll build that, it needed to go backwards and forwards. So it was a very digital email backwards and forwards with design ideas, what can get tweaked, and then put that down on paper and work from that.
The people who were contacting you, did they have sort of firm ideas themselves first, or were they just saying, we'd love to sort of be involved in what you're doing?
So some of them were just, this is fantastic that you're doing it. We'd love to get involved. You know, if we can sign in for that, then brilliant. There was probably 4 or 5 of them that started getting quite detailed. And I was getting to the point my head was exploding because it's amazing actually how a lot of the designs have very similar themes, which you might expect because it's a worship type, Christian-based theme. But actually, there's lots of little inroads that's going off, and people were giving me very similar phrased Bible passages to go, can we work from this kind of theme? This is where I want to be. So there was very similar designs going on, and I was getting to the point where I was starting to misthink about which one was needing which one. So I actually contacted everybody and said, look, I'm going to have to just do this one at a time. So you're not going to hear from me for a while, but don't worry, you are there, you're on the list. Let me concentrate on this one. As I'm finished this, I'll get in touch with the next one and we'll start really kind of thinking and designing that next build.
So will it be one at a time, or will they overlap a bit, do you think?
There'll be one at a time. I haven't got the man hours to do multiples. And again, I'm more likely to get mixed up and put the wrong neck on the wrong body, I suspect.
Do you think that if there's such a demand just keeps growing for it, that you might have these ones that you're doing in the way you said, where you're just asking them for material cover, but that you might start actually building them as commissions and full pay? That
would be the perfect end result, if you like. That yes, if someone goes, well, I really want to be involved in this, and I'll order one and pay for it, then that's fantastic. I would love to spend less time in my car as a driving instructor. At the minute, I've got Mondays and Thursdays, I'm in the workshop, I'm making and recording. And then a little bit on an evening, possibly a dabble on a weekend. The rest of the time, I'm sat in a car with people trying to kill me. So if I can get out of doing that, would be brilliant. And yeah, a definite commission that's actually going to bring some money in, can replace the income of a day's driving, would be spot on. Yeah. But when I get through the end of these, let's say these free ones that we're doing, which might be, it's going to be a year, 18 months at least, I suspect. We might open the offer up again, but if you can't wait that long, by all means, order one.
Yeah, I know that's not your aim directly with the series to do that, but it's amazing that you had so many interested people so quickly. It's fantastic that the word got out.
Yeah, and from actually very little reach. So it was an Instagram reel and a YouTube short, literally 60 seconds worth. The YouTube short was only seen by 500 people, I think. It's one of those that just tanked in the algorithmic stakes, if you like. Again, reels wasn't massive, so after a very limited showing, to have those people come in and go, yeah, can I do that, please, was fantastic. And again, I'd probably struggle to go with any more than that at the minute anyway.
500 views is what I can, hope to hit usually with most videos.
Well, I mean, that'd be great for the long form content, but you kind of think, well, the YouTube short, when you get ones that, I mean, I've had a few and they've had like 21 views. Yeah. And you think that just means you haven't shown it to anybody at all. How do you know if it's a success or not?
Feeds, do they? Do the shorts don't show up in subscription feeds? Is that right? I think that's what I've worked out. Or
I think that's right. They've changed it recently that if somebody watches one of your shorts, and I think then interacts with it maybe a little bit as well, then they'll be shown some of your long form content on their home feed.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So they are trying to link the two together, because for a while they were very, very separate. And if they find you on shorts, they'll never see you on the long form content.
Yeah. Okay.
It's funny though, on my subscription feed when I watch it through my TV, so that's on the TV version of the app, my subscription feed shows shorts. It just seems as slightly random.
Right, okay. Yeah.
But then I can't comment when I'm watching it on the telly because there's no space to comment on.
Yeah, that's true. My mum and dad, bless them, watch every video I put out, and they do it on the telly, and they keep saying, "You keep mentioning these links down below." She said, "We can't get to them." You'll have to get a laptop out instead then, Mother.
Yeah, parents are awesome. My mother the other day, she was like, I saw your whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you do realize I'm the one that shared that. That's why you saw that. I saw it out of nowhere. It was amazing. Oh, I shared it. That's why you saw it.
My wife's favorite. My wife's favorite trick is that the notification will come on her YouTube, so she'll click it, put it on mute, and then put the phone on the side somewhere. So it plays the full length of the thing, but she doesn't watch any of it. God bless her. Thank you, darling.
I used to do that too. Is I'd put a video up and I'd tell the two kids and my wife as well, quick watch it just to get some 2 or 3 off the bat.
Those first views are vital.
It's got to be good if people are viewing it within the first 5 seconds.
Do you know what? I haven't gone back to look at the past streams we've done to see how many extra views it's had after the first few days, but these tend to have most of their views in the first few days, and I think this is only going to appeal to the people that are interested in building and maybe not necessarily guitars, but maybe interested in general design and building. So it's a relatively limited audience, but what's amazing is how many of the people that watch it do interact with it.
Yeah, I think the ones I've looked back, it's a couple of hundred views in the few days after, which the community that we're in, who we chat to online, that's a pretty good number that they're actually going to go and watch as well. Because obviously time zones are an issue around the world that people are going to be at work or asleep for when we do this for the hour. So if a couple of hundred people that know we do it are watching it after, I reckon that's pretty good.
Yeah, 12 watching, 4 likes.
We'll probably talk about it a bit later, but Aaron, Scott, myself the other day were talking about communities, the guitar building community, and how it seems to be growing and thriving. But Chris, because your YouTube's also got the other DIY stuff, do you find that there's people there that interact that are not interested in the guitars or have come into the guitars from somewhere else, or do they not really reveal that?
There's been a few that have said, I found you via a tool review or something like that, or a little demo on how to do this carving type of thing. And then I've come up on a guitar thing, so they've watched that and found it very interesting. I think it tends to be pretty separate though. I would like if YouTube, and this is very controversial, all the subscriptions that you get, I think if somebody that subscribes to your channel and doesn't watch anything of your videos for a year, they should cancel that subscription. I'm sure our channels would be healthier for that reason. So I know I've got a lot of subscriptions from very old videos that did well at the time, but I'm not doing the same thing now. And nobody of those subscriptions are watching what I'm doing now. And I think the channel would be healthier if it was more recent subscriptions that YouTube was kind of suggesting my videos to. So they do tend to be quite separate between the tool and the woodworking side, and then the guitar building side is almost 2 separate communities, I think.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I noticed a comment on one of mine the other day where I was... So some of my videos, I make things, and some of them I'm just explaining how bits of guitars work. And someone just commented saying, these are much more interesting. explaining how things are done than your arty videos showing how things are made. Let's sort of say of you making things, which is fair enough. I'm sure most of my people that have come across me are just there because they want to know how to set up a guitar and then not interested in the rest. But how do you differentiate between that? I have that when I watch videos. There's some people putting up content. I'm thinking, why did I subscribe to you? And then you realize that a year ago they did a video that you thought was amazing.
Yeah. Do you know, I don't think there is anything we can do as content creators. I don't think there's any way that we can separate those off, other than if your thumbnails almost have a branding. So I've started with this worship series that I will put the worship series logo in the corner of every thumbnail. So anybody that's watched the previous one that might be looking out for it instantly can see it. Oh, great, there's the next one. If I do a tool review over the next weeks or months, it's not going to have that. Now, it might still have my face on there as something recognizable, my little KBC branding in the little corner section, something that people know it's me. But I think the link between those that are wanting woodworking stuff and those that are wanting guitar buildy stuff, I think they'll just sort themselves out, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've always tried to do, some specific branding with thumbnail, but also naming convention. And I never could tell that it made any difference. Maybe it does.
Oh, sorry, I'm not sure what happened there. We all cut out.
Yeah, we went to 3. I disappeared. Has Arran gone?
Arran disappeared. There we go.
Yeah, I'm back.
We're all back.
Hopefully someone in the chat will tell us that we're still
My
working.
internet must have just dropped out or something. I didn't touch anything.
You switched the internet.
I disappeared for a while too. Never mind.
I mean, I guess...
Sorry, you were saying, Scott.
I've always done some very specific stuff for branding, from series. The thumbnails for a series and naming adventures. Watching other people's stuff, I noticed, you can find like 1, 2, and 3, and then episode 4 is nowhere to be found. It's never, it doesn't show up in your feed or anything. So, and some people don't use a naming convention that lets you actually know what the next one was. So I was always real careful to try to name them so, they're sequential and the numbers there. And I don't know that anybody ever cared. I don't, I don't know if it ever helped anybody. My database administrator brain, this makes perfect sense. And I don't know if, it was lost on people.
I'm definitely of the opinion, if you think it's useful, you should do it.
Yeah.
Then at least you know you're doing the right thing for what you think.
There's a contrasting theory with series that, yes, you should absolutely label this is episode 27, this is episode 28, and go through like that. There's a contrasting theory actually that don't do that, because if somebody sees that the first time, they go, oh, it's episode 27. I'll not know what's going on, and I aren't going to go through 1 through 26.
Fair.
So you're really kind of balancing that fine line between if you've got a good community that you go, I really need to make sure everybody sees the next episode, then great, label them and go through. If each episode is a bit of a standalone thing, maybe don't number them.
Interesting. That's an interesting idea. Well, and with what we're doing, at least with what I'm doing, it's a process. It behoove you to see the first one, However, you try to, each video you try to make a story. So, even if it's just, I'm working on the body right now, it's, you try to make it where it could kind of work as a standalone thing. So, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you really grow a community when you've got such a niche videos as guitar building, which are obviously it's not mega niche like some things, but as I keep saying, it's not like the things my daughter watches, which get millions of views because everyone wants to watch someone make slime or fill a house with ping pong balls. I don't know, but
or we give away £100,000 in 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
well, if only there was some big name channel that everybody watches that started a competition. That might do it.
No, so the reason I made that video that should have appeared at the beginning of today and will appear at the end, hopefully, was I don't know, do we need to grow a community more? But I thought if we just had something that people could share it on social media easily, then it might be that some people that aren't aware of it might follow along. I wish I could remember which podcast I was listening to the other day, but it was some guitar YouTubers were at an event and they were saying how interesting it is that you go to a big guitar show and half the people there just don't know who you are, even though you are one of the big guitar demo YouTubers, because most people don't watch YouTube to find out about guitars. They just play guitar, play in bands, play at home. They're not interested in that thing. But maybe they would be if they knew it was there, but maybe it's not how they want to spend their time.
Odd.
I definitely spend too much time on YouTube when I could be building things or working.
Yeah, but look what YouTube's done for you. These days, it used to be you'd look for a book. How do I do this? No, now you just go to YouTube and boom. Doesn't matter what you do. I need to place a toilet. All right, look on YouTube. The world's knowledge is laid out on YouTube. Used to be, the Library of Alexandria. Now it's YouTube.
It's knowledge. It's entertainment. It's comedy value. It's there for absolutely everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've been living vicariously in a motorbike stance for the last couple of years because I've been pining for one for ages. So a lot of my YouTube feed have been bike-related stuff. And now that I've got a bike, I'm now kind of thinking, shall I make a second channel and do it on bikes?
I've got a friend that does that, and he has a huge audience.
Right. What's his channel?
Oh Lord, I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to dig it up. But he's in West Texas, and he'll go visit, historical places and stuff like that, and show himself breaking the law tremendously on the way, and it's fun stuff.
Yeah, I always wonder the sanity of doing things like that. You think, talk about hanging yourself with your own noose.
Yeah.
But I've actually just got a sponsorship of sorts for this latest guitar build with an app called Real Rider, and it's a crash detection app that goes in your pocket, specifically designed for motorbikes. So the standard crash detection stuff that's on your iPhone works in a car if you're lucky, but it just doesn't work on a bike at all. And it'll contact the paramedics and tell them that you're stuck behind a hedge and you can't get up with exact GPS locations. And that is available in all of UK, Europe, America, Australia, New Zealand. He's chatting to Japan. And he's a guy that lives 5 miles down the road from me. I was absolutely blown away by it. So I chatted with him, and we've got him linked into this one because there's a bit of a road theme on this guitar. So we've got him linked in for that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What a great app. To design something that might save someone's life.
It's unbelievable. The guy invented the software that does it, and that software is now in major manufacturers that he's unable to name for legal reasons. But big bike manufacturers, car manufacturers, he's chatting with people in all over the place to get his tech in their system because it's the best one. It's the only one that's legally allowed to be linked directly into paramedic interface. It's instantaneous. It's fantastic.
That's crazy.
So that's made me think. I don't know what you'd make that was bike related out of wood, but why is it guitars that you're sort of the main focus on, or thing you're really interested in?
Do you know what? I don't know, because I'm a drummer. So it was one of those things actually that I had a drum kit. I was happy playing away with the drums, and I just thought, you know what? I've never owned a guitar. I should probably remedy that. So I bought a kit from Gear for Music, which a lot of the UK guys will know. Gear for Music, and it was £65 for the entire kit, and it came through, and it had this blank basswood body and the neck and everything else. And I thought, well, I'm not just going to put it together and paint it. Let's go to town with the chisels. And it turned into the red SG that's kind of come up on my channel a few times. And that was the beginning of guitar related stuff that I put this together, and there was parts of it that I thought that doesn't look quite right. So I fixed it by getting the chisels out. And you know, making the neck pocket a little bit deeper and things like that, just making it look a little bit more slick. And then I thought, well, now that I've seen actually how they go together, I wonder if I can make one from scratch. And down the rabbit hole we dived.
It is addictive. I think kits, we mentioned it before, kits are such an easy way into
it's the gateway drug, isn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't my entry. Cigar box.
Yeah, not me either.
Okay.
I think Scott and I were the same. Our pathway was quite similar with the old slide cigar box sort of style things. That the only kit I've done is the one I did with my son last year, and he just wanted a gold top Les Paul, and so we got the kit and spray painted it gold nitro on the top, and he's happy.
That Harley Benton Toman thing last year in the middle of Great Guitar Build-Off is the first kit I've ever done.
Yeah.
The macaroni noises, it's trash. It's really a terrible guitar. I don't know if I would do another kit. It's trash. I wish it was awesome because it's macaroni and it looks awesome. It's just it's not a good guitar.
Well, I guess you're comparing it against your handmade ones, boutique ones, which are like a lot. First of all, the cost of your woods is way more expensive than the whole kit was.
I've always struggled with what exactly is the quality of what you're producing. How does this compare to a $2,000 guitar? Because realistically, that's the price tag it would have to be to be worth your time. I've never touched a $2,000 guitar. I don't know what they feel like. I don't know what they play like. I don't know what they sound like. I would like to do more research in that area, but I mean, how could I? But I do know that when I reach for a guitar, I always reach for one of mine. I've got 3 or 4 store-bought guitars, and I never pick them up. And I probably should from time to time just to see how everything compares. But yeah.
Are you all from a guitar playing background?
I started playing the guitar. I was probably 14 when I started early high school, and played in a few different bands. Late high school and early 20s, and then I've just sort of continued guitar playing, and I've sort of thought, sometimes as well, whether if I had to choose between like building, if you could only ever build guitars for the rest of my life, or play guitars for the rest of my life, I'd probably have to go with playing the guitar. I'd have to go with that option, as much as I love building. But yeah, me, it's always been guitar playing.
So, I started guitar and tobacco on the same day at 13.
Yeah.
One of those I do regret. But so years and years and years of playing, but somehow never got that good.
One of my really early memories of guitar I probably wasn't. It was like listening to music. I think it was Dire Straits when Money for Nothing came out. I think I was probably like 8 at the time. And just that intro riff, And I think I was old enough to realise, like, I was amazed by the sound. And then it kind of hit me that this is someone's job to make that sound and get up on stage and do that. Like, hang on, this is what he does, you know. Like, and I still remember that as an 8-year-old or whatever. That, you know, this just sounds amazing, and that's his job to do that. And that's kind of
Chicks for free. It's crazy.
That's right.
Is that why, Scott, you started the tobacco at the same time as guitar?
That was just a fluke. That was my cousin's fault. Hey, I got this new guitar, and hey, there's a can of Copenhagen, and yeah.
You just needed to smoke all the cigars before you could build the cigar box guitar. That's probably the reason.
You know, I was never a cigar dude. I just, yeah. And actually, the first couple cigar box guitars I did were actually solid body, and I didn't do that many actual cigar box guitars, but
yep.
I did. There were a couple bars in town that was cigar bars, and they would sell their boxes pretty cheap. And I made a pretty good collection of boxes, even though I didn't really do that much with them. But there were only a handful of those before, a friend, a bassist, who was, you know, actually in a gigging band. He wanted a bass, and that turned into my first full-scale real electric guitar. First thing with the truss rod, that was the big thing. Oh my god!
It's official. It's got a truss rod.
Yeah, it was a real guitar. He passed away a couple years ago, and his wife was trying to find a good home for all his guitars, and the one that I had made for him, she knew needed to come back to me, and so I hadn't seen it in 30 guitars I've made since then, and he loved the thing, and it's got a baseball neck. I don't know what it was about it that he really loved, but yeah, it's kind of interesting to look back at your old projects if you can get your hands on old ones, and the changes that have occurred. Yeah.
It was interesting what you said, Scott. Just backtracking a bit about how do you know how to judge the quality of something, and playing a £2,000 guitar. What makes that guitar £2,000? And I always think that the people that work in guitar shops probably know more about guitars than anyone else, because they're around that range of things all the time. Because I don't remember ever playing a £2,000 guitar that was from a shop, that wasn't one that was boutique made.
I have thought about that, but everybody around here, like Guitar Center, they're like the snootiest people, and I'm like, seriously, Skippy, you're making minimal money. Where cork sniffing little bastard? Yeah.
And Chris, if you didn't even play guitar, it must be interesting to judge the quality. I mean, you've got your
That's it. So I can look at it from a woodworking perspective and go, that's nice. Good bit of joinery there. That's lovely. You can feel whether it plays nice, in as much as it's not killing my fingers if I'm trying to play it and strum a couple of chords, but that's about your lot. As for the sound of guitars, and I think especially electric guitars, I'm of the nature of, if it's a humbucker, it's going to sound like a humbucker. If it's a Strat Style 3 coil, it's going to sound like a Strat Style 3 coil. It's the whole demo thing on YouTube, I don't get it. I just don't get it. For me, by the time you've plugged it in, you've stuck it through your pedal board and whichever amp and all the settings that you plug in, does one humbucker sound different from another humbucker? I don't know. So if I am building a guitar for someone, I will 100% let them dictate what equipment they want in it. Because I'll go for whatever's just not, the cheap Chinese stuff. But I'm not going to spend £300 on a humbucker when one for 50 quid will do.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I'm slightly agree with you. I think that people use so much like outboard equipment and now modelers that as long as you've got good signal coming out, you can adjust that in some ways. And I saw a demo the other day of can't remember his name. Wears glasses, long hair, very, very aggressive, over the top YouTuber. Someone will know in the comments. Something Studios is his YouTube channel. He's very funny. Phil. Anyway, whatever. He was demoing a guitar and talking about the different pickups on it. And Glenn Fricker, that's it. And then he just demoed that when you put it through a really high gain distortion, they all sound the same. Like all the pickups which had subtle differences in the different positions, you lose that when you've got that sort of distortion, so it doesn't matter so much. And it's true.
Yeah, that's one of the things as a as a sort of guitar player as well. I've never really gone for the really heavy distorted stuff, and I don't. I've got overdrive pedals and tube screamers and those kind of things, but the heavy distortion I've never really liked, because I think it's for that reason that any tone that the guitar had is kind of gone, and it kind of it's sort of in my ears, it gets a bit muddy with the sound anyway. So I think with pickups and that it can be a bit deceiving.
I would largely agree, but my first, I don't know how many builds, I would buy like the cheapest hardware I could get my damn hands on, and it was usually like Guitar Fetish stuff on clearance. And those super cheap pickups do tend to not quite have the same output that some other things have. So I've just gotten used to blowing $200 on some oh Lord, DiMarzios. I've started to really like DiMarzio, but something that's not bottom of the barrel.
I would not be allowed to do that.
It's fairly terrifying.
Yeah, I think probably the components. If the individual components of the pickups are quality, then I think you'd be right. I mean, the ones I've wound, I've done the single coils in last year's build and some P90s as well, and I bought the magnets and things from Stu Mac or other places that were good quality. They're proper pickup suppliers, and I was kind of surprised like how clear and good they sounded compared to cheap and nasty ones. And I think that a lot of the cheap and nasty pickups, they've just got the like the plastic magnets, that it's basically like a flexible plastic thing with magnets in there rather than an actual metal magnet. So it's possibly that like anything, you have good, if the components are, because there's not many components. There's a magnet, a bobbin, and some wire to an extent. So if they're good quality and then someone knows what they're doing to combine all those things, that's what I sort of think.
Yeah, well, I should probably shop around and try to find some some more independent people. So you could probably get some really good quality stuff for cheaper. Maybe cheaper.
That's what I like. Is I found someone Alchemy pickups that I bought a few from, and it was just nice having someone I could email who was very personable, and we could discuss the guitar I was building and what he thought would work in it. And then what was really noticeable is the quality of the components were definitely better than the ones in a lot of the pickups I'd used before. Yeah. But as Neil's put here, I've just tagged the comment. I've definitely had cheap pickups from a guitar kit or a cheap guitar picked up that sounded amazing, and that might just be absolute chance that it's been badly wound or something, and suddenly it's got this incredible sound.
Turns it good.
You accidentally got one right.
Anyway, listen, we've already talked for 50 minutes. Maybe we should quickly talk about the Great Guitar Build-Off, as we haven't for a few weeks. And I noticed on the Facebook pages there's been some people putting up their builds and things. I don't know, Chris, have you been following along at all this year?
Not a massive amount. There's a few that stand out. I'm a sucker for some carving. So the Goddess Guitars, I love her. The Owl Guitar project that she's working on at the minute, absolutely fantastic. Really, really cool looking guitar. What's the other one? Is it SL Guitar Arts? Is it Laszlo? He's done a Viking based guitar, which is just beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. with a figurehead headstock. I don't know who's done one of those before. But again, astonishing work, really, really nice. And he's put kind of metal inlay striping on there, which I bow my hat to that every day of the week. So yeah, those two for me are ones that have really stood out.
Yeah, I think they're both ones we've sort of talked about sort of early on when we did these streams. Yeah,
it's interesting that you're maybe not watching as much. Just for everyone so they know, we had a chat with Ben and Tom from Crimson. They said they didn't mind us mentioning it, but they contacted us, and basically what they've said is that they will be getting back to the build off, so don't worry about it if it hasn't been much coming, because obviously it's coming towards the end. I think there was a suggestion that maybe they should have had more of a focus than over the year, because when it's spread out over the year, we do lose track maybe of having that focus on something.
Yeah, I think they can't win on timing, really. I think if you make it a short deadline, people complain I haven't got the time. If you make it a full year, people lose interest, and it's a bit kind of diluted. Yeah. I think that's a tricky one to get right, to be honest.
But they said definitely don't worry. They're going to they'll get back to it, and there will be announcements about what's happening. So
the Instagrams they've over the last week they've posted or reposted a few more things in, I think, both stories and their posts as well. So that sort of keeps going until the end of the call.
Yeah, I've had a few comments from the Instagram side of things, and I'm not even posting anything linked to Great Guitar Build Off. So they are kind of flicking through and looking to see what's going on just in the entire community, I think.
That's good. Yeah, I noticed on the actual Great Guitar Build Off page on Facebook, they haven't it's been mainly reshares of things that people have done as opposed to their own posts. But they did put one post up the other day, which was, I'll share my screen, which was one of the spot prizes they've given to Scott from SBH Guitars, who's really active on the Facebook group as well. And I think this is the first one I've noticed them actually post directly about the spot prizes, because they do quite a lot of them, and they sort of just I only notice them if somebody who's won a spot prize has mentioned it.
Most of them I've noticed they send an email out, I didn't know all these people got spot prizes. None of them are me. That's cool.
I didn't think about that because I've not actually signed up for this year, so I haven't been getting emails.
No, me neither.
Yeah, there's a newsletter email that goes out once in a while. It doesn't seem to be all that scheduled. It just kind of randomly comes once in a while. But
yeah, best hair prize. I wonder if you can dye your hair with that tie. So actually, one thing I did want to mention is they've also. Oh, sorry, I seem to not be sharing correctly. Let me share properly. They've mentioned the final invitational. How do I do this?
Yeah, I saw that and I already forgot.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I've not heard her say her name. Zyla? Foxy.
It is Zyla. Yeah, I've watched a few of her videos. So yeah, she seems really interesting. So it'd be cool to see what she comes up with. She does. Yeah, there's a bass guitar. She has made a bass guitar before, but I think she's got an engineering background. So she does a lot of rockets, as you can see in some of those sort of thumbnails. And yeah, flying, I think, is one of her passions as well. So yeah, it should be really interesting.
Yeah, I came across her from this. It was a maker's Secret Santa, so lots of different YouTube makers making things for each other, and then the bass guitar. So yeah, it's just nice to have someone with a different background, and hopefully someone that's quite passionate about talking about it, because I know some of the invitationals last year just sort of went under the did their video and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you can see my subscriptions here. I've got the Wiggles.
I've noticed 2 or 3 of her videos show up on my feed, and I didn't realize where they came from. Now I might have to watch them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember which one. I think I watched the bass guitar one, a couple of the rocket ones, and I think she had a one where she set up a new workshop, when she moved houses, stuff like that. The other ones I kind of like watching as well when people are
I know
doing work.
And the camper have showed up on my feed, and I'm like, where does this come from? Watch them, but yeah, I might have to now.
Oh, YouTube knows, Scott.
Somehow.
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
It's
don't
because
worry,
people that you watch,
Yeah.
people that you watch have watched her, so they'll suggest her to you.
Yep.
It's a scary process.
Yep. Yep. Skynet's taking over. We'll all be dead soon. The robots will rule the world.
Yeah, well, maybe AI will suggest better videos to me sometimes.
Maybe AI will.
Yeah, the problem again, going back to the videos of slime and all the other things, my daughter watches it on my login, and therefore I get recommended slime, dinosaurs, and sea shanties.
My daughter won't watch any of my videos because it will ruin her YouTube.
I'll just say a couple of other things about the Facebook group, and I put a link in the description to this. There's the Great Guitar Build Off 2023 family group, which mainly seems to be Todd moderating it, but there's other people involved. I've noticed recently it's become a bit more of a place where people are going with, here's a photo of what I'm doing, I'm not really sure how to fix this or how to go, what to do next, and people offering some advice, which I think is the thing I've always thought works best about Facebook groups, is that opportunity for sharing, as opposed to or asking advice and collaborating, as opposed to just sharing images, which I think Instagram's great for.
Yeah. There's something I've thought about. The group that we have, cultivated as a community here, basically starting with YouTube, is relatively small, I think, for the number of people that are actually doing this. I really wondered, there's a ton of people on Facebook, in guitar building groups that have nothing to do with GGBO, and I've really wondered why that is, if there are just a lot of people that aren't interested in doing that type of thing, or if they just really hadn't had exposure, or, there are lots of pockets of communities here and there that have just, our little GGBO world has really stayed kind of small, really.
I think some people like their platforms. So I think people that like Facebook love Facebook and will be on there all the time and barely anything else. I can't stand Facebook. I hate the place. Whereas YouTube and Instagram, I think they work really well hand in hand together. So I'll happily go on there all day long. Yeah. But I haven't used Twitter or whatever it's called now for 10 years. The only stuff that goes on my Facebook is literally just being copied from Instagram and thrown across.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about the fact that the community, the GGBO community, is almost universally positive and good.
Yes.
And you start to think, oh, all guitar builders are just wonderful people, and then you spend some time on Facebook and realize some are toxic assholes. They just happen to be on Facebook.
Oh, you've done that wrong.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe it's best that they stay over there and stay out of our way.
Don't infect the rest of us.
I was about to say I was gonna spam some of the Facebook groups I'm part of with this when we finish, to say, hey, look, we've done 10 episodes, but maybe we don't.
Well, it was a couple of years ago, Great Guitar Build Off, when we were still doing public vote, and there were loads of guitar groups that I went and posted something on, and some of them, the moderators or admins booted my my post. There was a lot of toxic. I did not expect just how toxic the response was to a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I've experienced that as well. With I just don't understand. Like, there's a group, like a specialist group about something, and then I think even when I did the Doctor Who guitar on Facebook, I joined a few of those and found people are sharing like their creative stuff that they're doing with it, and sort of put a link to one of the videos or something, and they're like said, "Oh no, sorry, we can't post videos on here," or something. It's like, well, okay, It was really, really strange. We were like, okay, well, don't look at it. Like that was kind of the purpose of the group seemed to be to share creative things that people were doing.
Yeah,
there was one no external links allowed. Some of them, considered it soliciting. It was bizarre.
Yeah, that's a big thing on Facebook. I've noticed linking outside things like YouTube into groups is a no-no. I don't know why.
I've known for a long time. You post anything on Facebook that is an external link, and you'll be lucky if anybody on your friend list even sees it. Mm-hmm. They downplay those so much because they don't want people going off platform. Mm-hmm. And I don't. It's not like, I mean, everybody lives on Facebook. I don't know why they feel the need to have a monopoly like that. I mean, but.
I mean, other platforms are doing similar things. Even YouTube on their shorts now, you can't put a link. The little blue line that you get with a link, they don't work on shorts anymore. They've stopped doing that, so you can't leave the short site through a link. You'd have to purposefully get out.
I don't know if they've introduced it yet, but they're going to have, if you've got a short, you can link it to one of your own longer videos.
Yes, they do. It's not available to everybody yet. I have checked and I am eligible, and I've done it on one of mine already. But that is a thing that's coming out. So you can definitely do a bit of it and go and watch the rest of it here.
Yeah. I mean,
that would be good. It seems like shorts is more than anything just kind of like an intro into exposure to your channel. This is the kind of junk I'm doing because, I mean, what are you going to get out of 30 seconds, really?
Yeah. So comedy, is it?
I agree, but I've been quite obsessed with TikTok recently, and some of those are a minute, some of them are 2 or 3 minutes. And it's interesting when someone does it well, how well you can get things across in a short space of time.
Yeah.
And
but the amount of work to do that is massive.
Yeah.
You watch some of those, like say, minute-long shorts, and there's 15 different locations that they've filmed in and they've edited, and they've taken ages to do this. And you think, that's a lot of effort for a 60-second video.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a time when I thought, I'm doing all this editing for, a 15-minute video. It should be easy to just chop out, some little 30-second, reels or shorts and just to pepper the world with. And it actually turns into quite a bit of work.
So I just need to, I got slightly distracted because I was reading the chat at the same time, and I realized I might have misread something. So I'm just going to directly say it. Corey, did you make a guitar for someone in the Wiggles? Is that what's just come up? I hope that's a yes. Anyway,
he nearly made some Wiggles guitars for a massive Wiggles fan.
Oh right, okay.
But it never happened.
My
for good reasons.
I often think they've got interesting guitars, and I wish I could make one for them.
Well, they use it's all Maton guitars, so just I don't know how well Maton's known overseas, but they used to make electric guitars, but they're predominantly acoustic.
Right.
So their guitars are top notch, and they've obviously got their own. But it was some of the electric ones that they discontinued making those about 10 or 15 years ago. Some Wiggles adult Wiggles fan wanted Corey to make some replica Maton electrics.
Amazing.
But like as an acoustic guitar company, they're the the Australian acoustic brand that people will go for.
So that was an unexpected twist to the end of the show. I just wanted to say something, and sorry if it's a bit of self-promotion, but with those short videos, I've just started asking people to make me some short videos that I can put together. I've mentioned it to a few people here before, in a show. So the idea is every couple of weeks, there'll be a half-hour long show made up of 10, 15 minute, sorry, half-hour, 45-minute show made up of 10 or 15 short clips of people making things or talking about guitar making in some way. And some people started sending me content, and it's really interesting seeing how people can get across a concept in just 2 or 3 minutes. And I'm really excited by this idea. And so we've had things from how to make your own alcohol dyes and different types of stains in like just a really short space of time, and how to take a design and develop it on paper and then turn it into a computer design. I just think that if I was to make something like that, it would be like a half-hour long video, and these are better than what I could do, and they're 3 minutes long. So I like that, and I wonder if in the future people will just be more interested in general short content and long content for very specific things. Anyway, that's floored everyone, like the Wiggles did. Or has Chris frozen? Maybe Chris has frozen.
Yeah, I was reading through the comments. A few. Tommy Emmanuel, he's the most famous Aussie that uses Maiden guitars.
Oh yeah, well he's amazing.
And I've never.
Chris has dropped out.
Well, I don't think we should end it without Chris coming back. Hopefully,
Yeah, he's disappeared again.
On my Instagram. While we're doing that, did any of you see anything else or want to say anything else about what you've seen with the Great Guitar Build-Off in the last few?
Yeah, couple of things. Instagram, I was looking through today. With the hashtag, there didn't seem to be a lot sort of coming up. But it's actually, when you search for it, it's changed now since there's more than 500 or whatever. You can't see all of them. You only see the top ones or most recent or something. But yeah, one of the other invitationals, I can't remember his name, the guy that does the wood turning. He sort of posted some of his. Let me see if I can share that. I had it up before. Share. Hang on.
Just
screen.
I just noticed. Yeah, Corey said something about Gutierrez guitars, but the initial was a very bad typo.
So this is, there you go, Matt. So that's actually here, the body, all the tree trunks that have been sliced up. So,
that's amazing.
I've got too many tape. Here we go. So when he posted the, here we go. So I think he mentioned, is it in this one here, made from an old piano? So I don't know which part's the piano just yet, but he's had this post, which looks like we've got a body there, we've got the neck. So we sort of made that post, and then this one here. So cherry plum pieces to the top, not the final shape, obviously. So that's going to be really interesting to see what he does with that.
Cool.
Yes, that's the one that sort of stood out to me. But yeah, the others, it's sort of the ones that were sort of coming up, ones that we've sort of mentioned or talked about before.
Yeah, in the YouTube world, there wasn't a huge amount of stuff that really stood out, except that there are a number of people that are either finished their build or are getting really close. Child of Animus with his fabric top, 13 Stitches, Robert Earl, McD, Sadila, Pling Plong, Mr. Babinga, Capone makes stuff, Borgonian Evolution, and Goth Rider. I don't know if I missed anybody, but I noticed there were quite a few that are getting really close to being done, if not done.
Oh, exciting.
Some of those are, posting sound demos on the regular.
Hey, I'm looking forward to when the deadline happens and there's some finished ones, talking about them. I wonder if we should just generally talk about them, or if we should do something like pick our top 5 each.
In the last month in November.
I've got to say, I'm so disinterested in competition elements of it all, and just want to see the making. So to do a top 5 seems a bit unfair.
Yeah, especially I'm not sure how they're doing with voting either this year. Like, who can vote and who can't, and all those kind of things. So I'm sure we'll be reminded of all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I expect that's going to be like last year.
Oh, look, Chris from Franklin Guitars has just arrived, so we better start again because he's
back to the start.
Yeah, I've just messaged Chris from King Bespoke, but I guess I didn't check what time he had to leave, so maybe he did have to leave, but maybe his internet's just gone.
Yeah, might have been internet maybe.
So I'll just do one shout out, which was to Lisa Harshberger, who's a moderator on the Facebook group. But Lisa's the person that's been putting up most posts about her progress and what needs to be done and help. And I think that's one of the things I really like, that community growing there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Corey keeps putting up that he had a driving lesson, but did he actually have a driving lesson?
No, he's just.
I just can't like the whole. Did I see the challenge in the middle of the book? Just gonna check that. No, there is one. No, there isn't. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I suspect it might have been an internet issue. On my screen, he was freezing a little bit at different times, but that's all right. I'm sure we'll hear from him if it's not now.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident he wouldn't just go, well, time to go without saying a word. This was fun. Poof.
We'll just stir him up about it later.
So, why it's just the 3 of us? How have you found the 10 episodes? Should we keep going? Are we running out of things to say?
We'd probably have to ask the people who are watching if we should keep going. I don't think we'll ever run out of things to say.
Yeah, no, clearly. Despite constant awkward silence, it's just trying not to step over each other. Yeah,
exactly. Any awkward silence is waiting for a delay.
Yeah. Nick's already said 73 minutes, and he'd be happy to keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I noticed you get like 3 seconds of silence, and there's anxiety that creeps over. Yeah, I mean, we're being boring. People are watching, and we're just sitting here quiet. Yeah. Like now, for instance.
That's very kind what Corey said.
Corey said he missed the last 2 weeks. There we are.
Yeah, I was afraid missing 2 weeks, people would just disappear. But clearly, our 12 viewers, have nothing better to do.
I definitely felt like something was lacking, I thought, when we weren't doing it from my point of view. But I think life gets in the way sometimes.
From my point of view, if we have, I think different guests on has been really cool. Talking to, we're sort of used to talking to each other now, even though we hadn't really, or we'd never done that a couple of months ago. But having chat to, from my point of view, chat to people that I've only been messaging for the last couple of years is really cool. Combination of invited guests and topics for discussion, I think would be good from my point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe if there's anyone in the chat at the moment that wants to join us one week, that'd be brilliant. I'm quite keen on that idea of trying to get a few more of the invitationals along as well from the Great Guitar Build-Off. Maybe once their builds are done, see if we can entice anyone else.
Ty was in the chat before, so maybe we could get him in first as the first invitational.
Yeah, I'll send him a message. maybe it is good to do that once he's got some videos up, because I don't think either he hasn't started or he hasn't put videos up yet, I think. Not that we need to talk about great guitar building.
It'd be good to hear of his Stu Mac experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That he's obviously back from now. That was I like those little teaser clips that were either on their I think it was their Instagram or his Instagram. So
I think I saw it on both. I'm not sure.
yeah.
Well, I've got a message from Chris. Internet issues. Sorry about that. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was good to have him. And I hadn't thought about that first GGBO guitar in a while, but I remember that was one I was definitely following, because it was this is a really cool theme. This is awesome. Yeah. And having not really done any carving, it was really fun to watch his build evolve. So it wasn't the first one I ran into for Great Guitar Build Up, but it was one of the more interesting ones I remember.
We've got Corey in the chat saying that, I'm sure many people, they might want to come on, but it's hard to do it because of the timing and the setup they've got. But yeah, if you can find a way, Corey, that'd be brilliant, even if it's from the car. So Stu Mac. So here's some exciting news based on your suggestions when we were talking about budget tools, and then another time talking about actual tools. I was going to bring it in with me. I've got that little rubber sort of sander that you've got, Scott.
Yeah.
£10 for like loads of sandpaper. I bought some of the bench dogs you mentioned, Arran, and I've got to say, because originally when I first started doing anything in my workshop, I made my own bench dogs with that sort of non-slip mat you can buy, bench cookies, sorry, and the material on this is totally different to the non-slip mat, and it's so much better. So that was a good suggestion. I'd always dismissed them based on what I thought they would be like. And I put an order in with Stu Mac, and so I agree. For here, the cost of the tools and things is now they're reduced, is very similar to anything I can get here. With it cost me £45 for a year to sign up to their whatever they call it, partner program, and the shipping would have been £35, so it's only £10 more, and it means I get free shipping and, like you said, returns and things. And it came, and I didn't have to pay tax on it, and it was about £150 worth of stuff. So it was great, and it came within, I think, just under a week. So brilliant.
Well, that's good. I know for me, it's obviously got to come a bit further, but part of the membership to Australia for the shipping, the regular one is, I can't remember, like 3 to 4 weeks, they say, but then if you want it express, you can pay, it's not as much as normal shipping, and it might be like $15 or $20 for express shipping. And I've done that a few times, when I was just too excited and wanted it straight away, or I needed like a part pretty quick. And some of those, it's like when I've paid the extra, it's coming like 2 or 3 days from America to here. It's, it spins me out. Like sometimes it's been so quick when I pay that extra that I can't physically work out how did it get, it must have been traveling the whole time to make it in that time.
I saw someone post something on Instagram the other day about a tool they bought on Amazon that morning. They all put the order in that morning and it arrived in the afternoon. We live in a world where something's weird, I think. I always think about, I'm trying to convince my wife that we need to, because we order so much from Amazon, just to do the Amazon delivery day, so it all comes on in one delivery, but we keep forgetting. And even when we do that, it sort of comes in multiple parcels anyway, and at different times, because it must come from different centres. But yeah.
Yep.
In that case, Chris is here. Chris Franklin. Who should we get on? Two hours. Chris gets in 2 hours. Right. I think if we're discussing Amazon delivery times, we've probably hit the end of the week's conversation.
Yeah.
Good news about your purchases then, Daniel, that they worked for you as well.
Yeah, it's good to have them. I just got to. I bought a few files and things that I had needed on something, or would have been really useful on something I've just made, and now I've got to hope that I'll have another use for them soon. But now they're here, I'm sure I'll find a use for them.
There was a time when it made sense for me to have the Stu Max membership, but I don't order that much stuff these days.
Yeah.
Builds
I know I
take
get
some time, and
they give they advertise a lot, and I kind of don't mind those emails coming through because like, when do I, something good might sort of come up, but they then send emails like of how much money you've saved in shipping like over the time. And I think it must have been, I don't think it was for the year, because for me it was like, congratulations, you've saved like $550 Australian in shipping. And I reckon that must be from when I first signed up. So that's over, I don't know, 3 or 4 years maybe. So I kind of figured, $500 in shipping over 5 years. Even if I was buying stuff from Australia, I still would have been paying shipping for that. So I kind of figure I've done all right.
I could be wrong, but I always thought it looked like their shipping prices were a little crazy, but that may be by design.
Yeah. Who knows? I've got to ship a guitar to Thailand soon, and they do next day delivery. Don't know how that works. ICBM
delivery.
I noticed that most things I send abroad, though, get stuck in customs for ages. So you can't rely on the shipping times they're given.
There have been a couple times I ship a guitar, and I'm terrified at the prospect. It just
having to raffle off my build-off guitar and knowing that could go anywhere in the world is kind of got me terrified as well, because the guitars are made for other people. I've literally, here you go, I can hand it to them. It's people I've known, so I'll have to, I don't even know where to start looking into it. I might have to put some posts up for other Australian builders who have posted overseas to find out the best and safest and cheapest way to do it, because I've just got my fingers crossed that someone in Australia will win it, and then I can just look at an Australian post.
Yeah. The one or two that I've had to ship, they've been, like a couple states away. So it's in country, not that far. It's still terrifying. I'm terrified. One of the many reasons I've never wanted to really turn it into a job. I mean, into a business.
Yeah, I've got to say I have had at least 3 guitars damaged in transport abroad. Sometimes I think one of them we had to bring back, fix, and send out, and I had to pay tax on it coming this way and out again. It was ridiculous. And then some of the other ones have been like minor fixes. So someone was happy, I just offered them a bit of a discount. And the other one, it was like maybe the control plate was broken, or something that was broken that I could send another part for. So it was okay.
I had totally forgotten. There was an Epiphone that I had, and I sold it to somebody, and I had to ship it. And the 3-way switch broke off. It was the only thing that happened, and it was just going back and forth. And I'm like, dude, just take it to anybody, and they can swap it out. It's just a 3-way switch. You want $20 for that? I mean, people are weird. Yeah.
This is a bit like a call to my parents, where I feel like I'm trying to end it, and we just keep.
Yeah. So anyway,
not that I want to end it. I just mean I think we should end it.
I think so. That's a good time.
Yeah, about time to go to work.
Great. Okay, everyone. We'll be back next week.
Thanks again.
God willing.
Right. Take care. Bye.
See ya.